Welcome back to the Dividend Diplomats YouTube channel. You got your boys here, Lanny, Bert, the mother effing Dividend Diplomats. What are we going to talk about today? I've got one stock in my portfolio I have no idea what to do with. So in this video, we're going to talk about the size of the position, how much income it's producing, and then what on earth am I going to do with this stock? Am I selling, buying, holding? I don't know, but I'm going to ask all of your opinions and yours too, Lanny.
Oh, gosh dang it, Bertie. We're here to find out. Guys, make sure to smash that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up. Bert's got one stock, guys, because every time we come to Crossroads, we all have been there. You've seen my video where I have about 5 stocks that I'm at a crossroads with. So Bert is currently at a crossroads here because both him and his wife own this dividend. Well, what formerly used to be a dividend growth stock now is just a dividend paying stock that is trying to figure out its way right now.
Yeah, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to review our portfolio before year end, see what positions we want to clear out, what do we want to consolidate, what don't necessarily fit our metrics anymore. And this one stock is about as polarizing as you're going to get, because I'm sure I'm not the only one that's going through the exercise for this tech stock.
Oh, you're not, Bert. And you've had some fun experience already this year with this stock. Gosh dang it, what stock is this, Bert?
We're talking about Intel, ticker symbol INTC. We have talked about a lot on this channel. Lanny and I both talked about the positions we amassed in this company. There was the great turnaround story. What was it? The 2022 turnaround story and the turnaround plan.
The comeback kid.
Yeah, where they were going
That
to
never came.
management change, to build factories in the US to break through the supply chain. Everything was going great. Everything was happy. Everyone was building their positions. You were happy. I was happy, Lanny. We were all happy. Then they cut the dividend. They cut the dividend.
They cut the dividend down, not just down, but they cut it way down. In fact, guys, they were paying at one point 36.5 cents a share, and they pile drived it down to the mat to 12.5 cents a share. So 24-cent cut on the 36.5 cent dividend.
But there's optimism because every great beaten down stock, except for AT&T, loves a good turnaround story. And Intel has turned it around this year. They've carried the wave of all the other chip stocks recently, where you're starting to see increased PC demand, where you're starting to see some progress on their factories being built. You're starting to potentially see some corrections to the major headwinds that caused Intel to correct their dividend. And as a result, they are up 42.69% year to date, up 34% over the last 52 weeks. Now they're up from their lows in the mid 20s, back up to 38.14 once again. It's been quite the 2023 for Intel.
So, Bert, you've got this position. Your wife has shares, almost 95 shares. You have in your stock account 35.6 shares. Obviously, Intel was trying to right size their cash flow and redirect that into the capital investments that they were doing, as well as they have some cost saving structures in place right now as well. They're doing it all. Layoffs, building, revamping, you name it, the foundry business as well. So what do you want to do with this massive position that you and your wife both have technically? You've got a lot of stock in Intel still.
Yeah, that's the $1 million question. She said she has 95 shares. That position's over $3,500. It produces nearly $50 of dividend income. And this one has a $600 unrealized loss. Yes, we bought it when it was high. I admit it. I accept it. Here we are. My position, 35.6 shares, is only it's a little bit less from the market value standpoint. It's about $1,300 with about $18 of dividend income. And this one's actually barely up in an unrealized gain position at $250. So both of them are in the traditional account. So you're going to face the tax hit if I sell mine, or you're going to get the tax benefit if you sell hers. So it's an interesting little position here. That's what we're working with. It's about almost $5,000 of Intel stock that I'm just kind of in limbo trying to figure out what I want to do.
Doing the limbo dance. Well, before you make that decision, let's quickly run Intel through the Dividend Diplomats dividend stock screener focused on 3 metric: price to earnings ratio less than the S&P 500, dividend payout ratio less than 60%, dividend growth, which we already know where that's going to head, but we'll look at that dividend yield. So Bert, quickly using, obviously the stock price as of November 5th, and earnings from 2024 expectations. What is Intel looking like right now, my brother?
All right, their PE ratio is just under 20 at 19.66 using that 2024 earnings of $1.94. Their 2023 earnings are half of that. So PE ratio much higher. If you use the current year, forward ones bring it down to 20. Payout ratio is low. They right-sized it, right? It's 25% at the current payout ratio, but money's yeah, all right. They right-sized it. I think you can call it what it is. That's putting lipstick on the pig. They cut the dividend, so of course the payout ratio is going to drop down, and they don't have a history of increasing dividends, as we know. And their yield is it is a sky high 1.31%.
1.31%. Again, Bert, you already said the stock was up almost 43% in 2023 alone. I guess first the question for you is, do you think they're going to resume dividend growth at all in 2024 or 2025?
I mean, I don't know is the question, but I would assume 2024, no, not a chance. I don't think 2024 dividend growth is coming back. They've made it very clear they need to invest their capital elsewhere. They need to build these factories. They need to launch stuff. They need to get back and start competing again. Some of the other great ones. So dividend growth, no. 2025, I'm just going to say unlikely, but there's a chance. You don't know what that's 2 years away by the end of 2025. A lot can happen. Yeah. But I think it's very unlikely. I would put that in like the orange teetering red category of I doubt it's going to happen. I'd say 2026 forward. What do you think?
Got it. Yeah, I would agree. I would say, yeah, off the table 24, more likely than not in 2025, and then a 25 to 35% chance in 2026. Mm-hmm. So you have three options that you're mulling right now.
Yeah. Option one, sell it right now. It's back up 42% year to date. They just popped after they had a strong quarter. They beat the earnings, even though the top line declined for the seventh straight quarter. Management gave a very strong statement about what Q4 sales are going to be, showing their recovery. So you've got some momentum coming here with Intel. Maybe you just sell it now. Take it off the table. Recognize a small unrealized loss for my wife. Recognize a gain for myself. And reinvest the $5,000 elsewhere. That's an option. There are plenty of great alternatives out there with much higher yield and higher growth. That's number one. That's the easiest, and I can execute that one.
Yeah, you bring in about $4.9 thousand. You can always set a sell limit order. If it hits $40, dump it. Really gets that full $5,000 dollars. Recognize maybe, some unrealized losses, maybe save a little bit on taxes, a couple $100.
Yeah.
Now, what's another option you're mulling right now?
So you kind of hinted at what one of the other options are. It's set limit orders altogether. You can build a ladder selling yourself out of the position too. I don't have to sell it all at once. I can sell it in increments to try and capture as much on the upswing as possible. So to your point, Lanny, I could sell it. I could set a limit order to sell X percent at $40 and then $42.50, $45. So that way you still have some skin in the game.
The old Bed Bath & Beyond trick.
Yeah. If you believe in the turnaround story, if you think the company can return back to the thing, you can take some cash off the table today, but also ride the roller coaster, the Intel roller coaster to there. So I think setting limit orders is another great way for those people that aren't sure, but are like, yeah, if I can squeeze out another X dollar amount of this position, I'd be happy to sell and move on.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty amazing that they're 160 billion by market cap company. So that was your first option, just to dump it. Second, set limit orders on the sell side. Now, what about this third option in quotes that you're debating?
Hey, that's a great segue. All right. The third option is the covered call option, but there's an interesting dilemma here, Lanny. I don't have 100 shares of Intel yet, do I?
Combined you do, but individually you don't.
The problem is you can't sell 100 off of two separate accounts. It has to be together in the same account. So there are a few ways to achieve this, right? My wife has 95 shares almost. I can just put some new cash into the account. And just buy 5 shares of Intel. Get myself to $100. I missed a chance to do this cheaply several months ago, even several weeks ago. I had a shot to do this at a much more affordable thing, but an option's there. My account, it's a highly traded stock. It's a highly covered stock. So you're going to be able to make some nice option premium off of it. And that allows you to continue riding the roller coaster here for Intel. You brought up a good option as we were talking through this. This wasn't one I considered. If I want to take some off the table, I can sell one of the positions in either my wife or my portfolio, move the funds into the other, get to 100 shares in one account, and then use the funds to invest in another account. So that can be achieved by selling my 35 shares, buying 5 more of my wife's account, but then putting my 30 shares left over here. Or I could sell her 95, buy 65 in my account, and then use the rest of the cash there. Both are good ways to do this and achieve it, to get to 100 shares in Intel in one portfolio and move the portfolio elsewhere. Both of them, I think, are great options.
Yeah, and you can always, if you just wanted to buy the shares outright under $200, you can always set a limit buy order as well if
Oh,
the price ever drops.
yeah. No, you're right. So those are honestly my 3 right now. Sell it now, sell it with limit orders, or figure out a way to get cover calls in one of these 2 accounts. And that can be achieved through multiple channels. And I'm
And the
still
reason
kind of,
why, yeah, and the reason why Bert wants to do the covered calls is because he can at least earn back some of that yield that we've all lost on Intel. Because even if they expire, Bert would keep the premium. You could sell a covered call at $42, $44, keep a couple dollars in premium every 100 shares that he writes it on. So
Mhm.
he's just adding to his overall yield and return on Intel if they expire worthless.
That's absolutely right. And honestly, transparently, I don't know which option I'm going to do yet, to be completely honest with everybody. I'm kind of torn. Obviously, the cover call would be fun, but there's risk involved with that too. Selling, I mean, I don't know if I want to, like, what I want to do yet with it. If it's the outright sell with limit orders from there. So I'm kind of riding it because it's been a turbulent month from Intel. Just 2 weeks ago, they were at $33 a share. So I think it was 2 weeks ago. Let me pull up the
Yeah,
chart.
yeah, yeah.
It wasn't even. It was October 26th. They were at 32.52. So yeah, that was about 2 weeks ago. So they're a turbulent stock right now. That's from there. So I guess let me just leave it here and ask everybody else, what would you do if you were me? Which option would you do? Have you had experience with Intel, trading Intel, selling it, holding it, buying it, flipping it?
Loving it, sleeping with it. Let us
Yeah,
know.
sweet chin musing it, stone cold stunning it, frog splashing it, choke slamming it. Let us know in that comment section down there. I really want to hear your advice and greatly appreciate it, everybody.
Guys, let Bird know what he should do. Appreciate your guys' feedback because I'm also curious what the community thinks of the position Bird's in. Guys, if you haven't, definitely like this video. Subscribe to the channel. Show some love for the DD, your boys out here on YouTube. Let's get to 19,000. Bird, any other parting words for the dividend investing community?
If you're not with us, you're against us, Jack.
Whoa, that was Bert and Lanny from the DD. Over and out.